All right, we ready? All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Oakland Mills Community Association Village Board. I'm going to pause so that Karen doesn't have to sprint to her seat.
Oh, we're
Just started. Just started. Hello. All right.
Very good.
All right, we had started as usual with a couple of administrative items. The first is approval of the minutes from the September 10th meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? I'll take a motion from Bill. I'll take a second from Andrew. Any discussion of those minutes? Okay, in the room, all in favor? 1, 2, 3. Voice vote online. I got Warren. Oh, and I got a thumbs up from Paulette. All right, so that's 5-0. Okay, next on the agenda is approval of tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Take a motion from Bill, a second from Warren this time. Any discussion of tonight's agenda? All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. And Paulette?
Favor.
Can we get a thumbs up or a come off mute?
In favor.
Yes,
hear me?
okay. 0-0.
Yes. Okay,
Well done, Paulette.
thank you.
All right. Resident remarks. If we have any residents wishing to make remarks, you have up to 3 minutes to make remarks on topics for the board. We don't have residents in the room. Online, anyone for remarks? Okay, hearing none. We will move right to old business, and the first item of old business is resumption of discussion on free meeting space opportunities for nonprofit organizations operating and addressed within the Oakland Mills Village community. So I will turn that back over to Brigitte, who presented this at the last meeting.
Okay, so I took your suggestions that you had from the last meeting. And I added as far as eligible for free meeting space, I added address of your organization is within Oakland Mills to kind of give it a little more clarification. And I changed the under availability, I changed it to say OMCA will not provide a hybrid meeting option. And then at the bottom, I added the disclaimer regarding OMCA reserves the right to change the above policy per changes in the Columbia Association Management Agreement. So those were the 3 suggestions I had listed or that had been made at the last meeting.
Brigitte, where
Yes.
it says not available, can you just add the word during? On the bottom there where you say not available rehearsal nights, I don't know what NFOB nights are, and board meeting nights.
Oh.
I think it should say not available during Smith, or you could say Smithy room or whatever you want to say, not available during rehearsal nights. I don't know what NFOB is.
It's National Federation of the Blind.
Oh, I
Okay.
forgot that by dad's one.
And board meeting nights. Yes, sure.
All right.
Any other changes or questions?
All right, I'm gonna call to see if there's a motion to approve a free meeting space opportunity for OMCA. And a motion from Bill, second from Andrew. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of implementing? 1, 2, 3, 5-0-0.
All right, great. Very exciting.
All right.
Thank you.
That one sailed through.
Okay.
All right, next up, and I do apologize for the lateness. I got tied up in things last week and it got away from me, and I don't know why, but my original email from yesterday afternoon bounced back from Andrew and Bill, so hopefully you both received it. I know
Send it
you.
around.
Got
Something
it.
weird is going on with email.
Yeah, it was
Several people
very.
I emailed said, what's this thing saying we're blocked?
I-
And I was like,
It
I'm
said
getting
it
the
was like
email.
it said it
Yeah.
was a policy violation. I'm like,
Yeah,
What
it's
what
really
policy did I violate? I
that's
said,
correct.
Something weird.
Andrew
If
and
you
I-
have Verizon email, I think it's.
Yeah.
Andrew and I were experimenting.
You correctly addressed.
So, bottom line, without reading the whole thing, it feels very strange to be doing this, but for the first time that I can recall, we're actually going in, and saying, yay, we like what the superintendent's proposing, stick with it. So, I mean, essentially what the superintendent is proposing keeps Oakland Mills Middle School on the schedule it's on, which really has already started because the planning has started. The occupancy date on Oakland Mills Middle is actually a year later than originally planned, and I think I talked about this at a previous meeting. That's not due to deferral, that's due to delay in contracting and, all that bureaucratic stuff that has to happen to get the school planned, and then the plan would be to have the shovels in the ground in spring of 2025. And of course, it leaves Oakland Mills High School's starting point where they set it the past couple of years with an occupancy date of 2031. So, that's a whole lot better than it's been in the past, and we want them to stick with it. So, I drafted something up that, thanks the superintendent, thanks the board for their actions, urges them to stick with it. And then, threw in a little bit of stuff that we've mentioned before, just to remind them why it's so important, to stick with this now. And, while we don't want things to fail there, it certainly doesn't hurt the cause that they closed the building all summer long to make repairs to the HVAC, and then it broke right before school
Right.
opened again. So, the building is doing all it can to support us.
Mhm.
So any questions, suggestions, concerns, comments?
I've made mine via email and
Yes, and that's why I shouldn't type when I'm tired. Yeah.
Jonathan, real
Jonathan,
quick.
do you wanna put the full list of your board here, because it feels like this is like I mean, I'm sure that this
I'm
is how
happy
it
to,
always
yes.
goes out, but would the other
Yes.
board members put their names on that just because?
I'm happy to,
I
yeah.
don't know if that gives it more oomph or not.
Yeah.
but-
I actually had a draft that had that and everyone was listed down here and it went to the second page, but I can just do commas
I
or
think
something.
you could just put.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ellison and the board and the Oakland Mills Community Association Board of Directors.
Yeah.
There's something like that to keep it short, but yeah, I mean, I think
Mhm.
to let them know that, yes, obviously it's coming, but that gives
Yeah.
it, maybe gives a little bit more to say that,
Mhm.
you have the support of the whole board.
Oh, yeah. And
Well done.
absolutely, and excellent letters always, but I saw those two punctuations, my immediate reaction was, Jonathan's really tired, because he almost never does that.
Yes. So I am going to, well, it's not gonna work. I was gonna say, I'm actually gonna change that in the Google Drive now, and then if you print another one tonight, I can, assuming we pass it, I can sign it. Actually, this isn't something that needs a vote. It really just needs concurrence that we're good to sign this, because it's,
So this, I see how you say it went on the next page. But you just wanted to say, underneath your name and the Oakland Mills Community
So-
Association Board, or just Oakland Mills Community Association Board on behalf of, how do you want it to state?
I guess on behalf of sounds best. Because I'm signing it on behalf of all of us, so,
On
yeah,
behalf of the entire,
yeah.
Jonathan,
On
chairperson.
behalf of the Oakland
How are you
Mills
supposed to
Community
do that?
Association Board of Directors. Yeah, I took this to the very, very last line,
Mhm.
but we can probably adjust the margin or something.
That's right, use the page
Tiny
structure
margins.
margin.
Yeah.
11.5 font. 11.75.
Is that how you cheat?
There's a lot of different. I know.
It's
many
called buy-in
ways to cheat.
space.
Voice of experience over there.
There's so many cars in Cleveland. There's gonna be a ton of people like it.
It's not for here.
I know.
I don't know what else is going on, but
Right?
looks like the barns lit up. They must be having something
I think that
over
was, I
there.
think it's everything.
So I was wondering, I would do custom. And then I would change like the top and the bottom. Don't change the size, because this is nice. Okay, so, maybe just like, yeah, see what. Oh, yeah, good call.
Okay, look at that.
Mhm.
If you want to put it like. In the space.
And then add board of directors.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Mhm.
I'm gonna let the editor do it.
Okay.
The designer. Yeah, it'll be on the printer, but tonight we'll just remember that it's on the printer. 'Cause
Okay.
remember the last time I forgot to do.
Um, I sent a courtesy email to the principals of Oakland Mills High and Oakland Mills Middle,
Mhm.
with this attached, just letting them know that we would be, discussing it tonight, and if we approved it, we would likely be sending something out to the community, you know, and sharing this and encouraging them to weigh in as well. And they both sent thank yous for, you know, including us back. So, Brigitte, once we have this all set and signed, let's prepare I guess a community email, I guess, to go out tomorrow, you know, basically saying, here's this fall situation, you know, we encourage everyone to, you know, write in or even sign up to testify to show their support. Here's what OMCA is sending, if you'd like to use that as a template for what you're going to write.
Okay.
Okay,
And then are you just agreeing that you're gonna sign this? You don't need to vote?
I don't think we need a vote because it's not like our policy or financials or anything, it's an advocacy letter, so as long as there's consensus, I don't think we need a vote, we haven't in the past.
So Jonathan, the only thing I have to say is my son is 36 and he graduated from Oakland Mills High School, and his wife is 35. No, she's 36 too, and she graduated from Oakland Mills High School. And they had mold problems and they had air conditioning problems when they graduated. So this has been going on a long time. And I'm so happy to see this changing, or at least potential for it to change.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Too many people.
We can add that in the letter. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Warren, 2009 was 15 years ago now, right? So figure if 2009 was the point that they should have done something about it, probably problems were starting before then, which puts it right when your son and daughter-in-law were in high school. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the very interesting thing is by the time this project is done, because I always make that point about like when kids were born relative to when it should have been done. When this is all done and it hits occupancy, if it happens on time, none of the kids going to that building will have been born when it was originally supposed to have been done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sad record.
yep,
It is.
all right. So Brigitte, I can draft something up and send it to you, or if you want to draft something up and send it to me to go
Sure,
out to the community,
I'll
however
give
you want to do
yourself a
it.
note. Okay.
Okay. All right, Fall Festival update is Amy.
Yay. First of all, I have decreed that there will not be rain and bad weather this year.
Rebecca.
Well done, Amy. Very good, guys.
No one is allowed to do a rain dance or anything like that. We are gonna have nice weather, we're gonna have it outside. So right now, we have over 40 vendors. Including the Bike Coco, bike crawl. Thank you, Warren. I'm over here off camera. And also, FAF, Jonathan, thanks for that. They're gonna do their instrument petting zoo again, and if it's outside, it will be really, really great.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to that. It's fun.
If it's outside, I'll bring my trumpet and play something.
Yeah, because then you can be louder, right?
I will not bring my bass clarinet because of what passed.
And then our county office of constituent services will also be there. Thank you, Vicki.
The Maryland Office of Financial Regulation is actually gonna be there too, and HCPD is always, will also be over there by the welcome tent, welcoming people. For food, we've got, again, the Stevens Forest PTA hot dog stand. They have agreed to do that again, we're excited to have them back. Thai Pinto is gonna be back. Mike's Gelato is gonna be back. And then homemade from the heart cookies. Cookies Mike. Oh yeah, those are back. He's very excited. He's already posted twice on our Facebook page. We also, on our fall festival, the food section of it, at the bottom, we're encouraging people to maybe stop by the restaurants in the village too. So we've listed them there. And if they would like to buy, because we have one less food truck than we usually do. So if they're interested in other food, we have a lot of multicultural food in the village center.
Yep.
OMHS band, marching band will also be starting us off, and the Palms, which is a new OMHS club. They're kind of like dancers and also like cheerleaders too, I guess, not really cheerleaders, it's described as dancers. They're gonna be there with the band, and the Palms are actually gonna help us with the kids craft tent too. So that's
Very
awesome. Mr. Boom Boom is back, percussionist, YouTuber. School of Rock is back from the Earth Day celebration. They're gonna be performing. Slick Hampton is also back. For the kids' activities, we do have some young entrepreneurs. We wanted to get some under 16 vendors. Gave them a free spot so they could, sell their wares and have a chance to do that. So we have a couple of those. We got kids crafts. Talbot Springs is gonna be either doing face painting or making slime, helping people make slime. We'll see how that goes.
When you said Talbot Springs School.
Yeah, Talbot
Okay,
Springs Elementary.
okay.
And we're gonna have free pumpkins for kids 12 and under, like we do every year. We're still waiting to hear back from the county about county officials coming. We'll hear back soon. Festival website, I've updated it with all the vendors and the food and everything, so you can go on there and see that. You can get to it from our regular village website if you want to get to it that way.
I'm sorry, Amy, backing up a sec, because you mentioned the county officials. Did we send a formal invitation to Sean McInnes? I know we informally invited him when he was here, but
We did
That's a
not.
good
yeah,
idea.
we could, yeah.
Thank you for thinking. I'm still working on getting a CA table. The person that I'm asking, she was out for a while, so.
Let me know if you need help, Amy.
Okay, thanks. Right now, I'm currently in the process of making the layout map and then also contacting the vendors with all the information about Lakeland Tour Ride and all that stuff. And then we're gonna be meeting with CA on Monday, September 30th to go over the layout and everything and the equipment. And also with volunteers, we can always use volunteers. It does help, the Palms are gonna be, they're helping with the kids crafts, but board members, love to have you there too. It's a good opportunity to, interact with residents and then also just to help out. And it's also a great opportunity to get to wear your orange shirts. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you.
No, great.
And one thing too is, and this is something I always forget to remind everybody, is at the beginning, when the band plays, we do, Jonathan, as the board chair, has welcomed people in past years, and board members normally go up, and that's oftentimes when, if the county officials are able to stop by, that's normally when they come to make their remarks. So if you are able, if you have a busy day, but you're able to stop by even in the morning at 11, that we would love to have you. It's well, first of all, the band is great, but also it's nice to have a full board representation, because there's a lot of families that are band member families that are there at that time, so.
Band sounds really, really good this year.
Yeah, when you post them, or whoever posts them
Yeah,
on the
That was
Facebook page.
Stephanie posted those, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Very excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
No hurricanes, exactly.
No hurricanes. Actually, the one year there was a hurricane, it didn't happen,
It
remember?
didn't happen.
It was just a
No, there was
cloudy
a
day.
governor's state of emergency.
Yeah, it was just a cloudy day.
No, I think that was the year before.
That was the year before you were here. Yeah.
All right, board chair report already, wow. So, good news, last night, the Wild Lake Community Association unanimously passed the letter that we all passed a couple of meetings ago. So now we just have to arrange the signing and transmittal of the letter. There was, I talked a little bit about the plans for the next board chairs and village managers gathering and, you know, my feedback on that. So that plan was scrapped, but there was still a plan to try to have a gathering. Exact purpose unknown, but still a plan to try to have a gathering. The doodle poll landed on most people saying tonight was a good night to have the gathering. So of course I said, well, Oakland Mills won't be able to be there. And it looks like tonight, some other villages are kind of saying either, why are we doing this? Or "Yeah, it's pretty lousy weather. I'm not feeling so great about going out tonight." So I'm honestly not sure exactly who is meeting, but it's certainly not full village representation. I know for sure we're not there. I don't believe Owen Brown is there, and I don't believe Dorsey's Search is there. Long Reach, I'm not sure. I talked to their chair earlier. She thought she couldn't make it, then she thought she could, then she thought she couldn't. So I'll let you know if anything interesting comes out of that. But, you know, the most important update is all 10 villages did approve that letter. Many of them approved it unanimously. We're not sure if all of them did because we don't have all the vote tallies. So we just need to coordinate on, you know, getting it signed and getting it transmitted. And then we go from there. And of course, you know, the village managers are still entrusted with for lack of a better term, you know, the in the weeds of the language in those contracts and the negotiations until there's an appropriate time to bring it back to all of us, because at some point, all of us as a village board will have to look at that on behalf of OMCA and, you know, weigh in. So, you know, when that time comes, we'll do that. But for me, I feel the next step, you know, after transmitting this is seeing if and how CA responds to, you know, kind of the overarching strategic framework we're trying to lay out. Which is, you know, a little bit different than where it started, but still maintains the two contracts, just kind of moves some things around and maybe makes them a longer term thing. So we're not tied up on this every 5 years. Any questions on that or anything else happening, Bill?
To just comment, from our conversations and then discussions here at the meeting, you've done a fabulous job on that issue. Getting the board chairs to come together, getting the key points in that letter, and navigating the rough waters in the process. Excellent job.
Thanks. It's a good, I mean, it's been a good team effort. You know, they have been productive gatherings, and like I said, now, you know, I think we need to, you know, get it out, regroup, and see where we go from there, depending on what kind of response we get from CA. But again, the team of managers is doing an outstanding job. Not just in you know, working this with the CA staff, but also in collaborating with each other and meeting and keeping everyone up to date. So the bigger thank yous to Brigida and that team. All right, I think that's all I have, unless there are any questions for me. Send it over to Karen.
Okay, so hopefully, I don't know if everybody here saw my newsletter went out on Friday evening, and embedded in that newsletter is a pool survey.
Mhm.
And I would request that everyone.
Could you
please
repeat
take-
that?
In the newsletter that went out on Friday, embedded in my newsletter is a pool survey. I would really like to find out from people across Columbia, you know, their attitude about the pool. Do you use the pool? Do you buy a membership? That kind of stuff. So I haven't had a chance to talk to Brigida about this, but like if we could emphasize it in the OM newsletter as well, I would really appreciate that. But it's part of it's inside the newsletter, so I have to open it up to.
How long are you gonna have that up?
I am gonna keep that survey open probably till the second week in October, just to
Okay.
give people a chance to respond to it.
We'll be able to put it in the newsletter.
Yeah, absolutely. So, also as part of that, in the newsletter, I gave some of the details about the financials and how we absolutely can afford to include pools, which we've been talking about this, as a benefit of the annual charge. So just working on getting other board members on board so that when we talk about the budget process this Thursday at our upcoming meeting, we have enough votes to get the senior leadership team to actually look at it and actually do something with it, unlike last year. So the survey is really important. And then on top of that, what I would also like to encourage people, and I know we've got regular board members and we don't have a big audience today, is residents speak out. It before the board meeting is really important. So if this is something that you want, or your neighbors want, I would encourage everyone to sign up for Residents Speak Out. The link is live right now for the Thursday meeting. You have till Wednesday at 5 p.m. to sign up. And you get, just like here, you get 3 minutes if you're an individual, 5 minutes if you're speaking as a representative of a group. And if you would like to see pools included, feel free to use the information in my newsletter. Several other people I think are signing up, and just like here, you can do it virtually, you can do it in person, and talk about pools. So the more support we get, the better it will be. So that's the big thing going on right now. The next thing is, as I just mentioned, the budget is coming up on Thursday. That's going to be the first. We won't actually see the draft budget on Thursday. I think we'll mostly talk about the process and approve the timing for it. But that's going to be a big deal this year. Obviously, the management contracts and things like that. On the strategic plan, I had my meeting with Sean last week. I think, and several members of the senior leadership team about the strategic plan, and just to give you guys some ideas of what I think they're thinking, nothing is set in stone right now, is instead of having just a 5-year strategic plan, and I really like this idea, is to have more of one of the things I've been pushing for, to kind of backtrack a little bit, is resiliency. And Sean is saying, what if we had like an evaluation? So you might have like a 1, a 3, and a 5-year plan, and they wouldn't be separate plans. You'd say, this is our 5-year plan, but we're going to evaluate it in 1 year. We're going to evaluate it in 3 years, so that you keep evaluating where you are to make sure that what you've got in that strategic plan makes sense, so that you can adapt and change where you need to, especially since, we're in a climate emergency, right? So you don't know. One of the things I talked about when I met with Sean, and I try not to get too weedy with this, is that, we were in the 90s and above, I think, since the end of June through most of all, and through like mid-August. We really, had a lot of over 90-degree days, some close to 100-degree days. That is so much hotter than last year. When July was super hot, it felt like it was a lot longer period where we were hot. Well, you start to think about things, it's not just individuals and how they're coping, and you think about the people in the point, whether they have air conditioning, but you start to think about, what does that heat do to the roof? What does that heat do to the vehicles? What is that heat doing to, obviously we know like what's happening with Lake Kit, what's happening with Lake Elkhorn, where they're having hazardous algae blooms. And so those are the types of things that I would like the strategic plan to understand. Those are the things that we're going to have to be proactive, reactive, depending on the situation, so that how do we keep Columbia Association moving when we're seeing things like that, and at the same time considering the demographics in Columbia. So when I first moved to Columbia, it was 1970. It was pretty much a young city. Everybody was a young family, young kids. Well, now we've got, like my parents, seniors aging in place, and they're not as mobile as they were when they were much younger. So when we're making decisions at CA, I want us to take into consideration the ages of everybody in Columbia, the incomes of everybody in Columbia, those types of things, so that we're getting that, when we're making our decision, we're giving the most benefit and doing the least harm. So those are some of the things that I talked about in that meeting about the strategic plan. And then last but not least, as you guys know, I'm on the audit committee, and we did just see a budget statement. I'm sorry, I get the fiscal years are so confusing, because we're in fiscal year 20. We're in FY25 budget, and we're going to start working on the FY26 budget, even though we're in FY24. But we just saw, I believe, what we just got was the quarter end report for FY24. I believe that is what we just saw, if I remember correctly. And everything looks pretty clean. There's some things that I would like to see as far as just make the budget a little bit easier to peruse, but I thought that the overall everything looks like that. So that's it for me, unless anybody has any questions. Bill?
You just comment, and I had emailed you this one.
I meant to mention, I did see your email and I did, yeah.
Okay, because it's a quick and easy one for strategic plan. It could be something that could easily be put into goals and plans, et cetera. But the general overarching one is create opportunities in open space to promote the health and safety of Columbia residents. So I think there's a lot of opportunities there, particularly with the pilot program that we just did, and I was happy to see in King's Contrivance newsletter that they're beginning to implement the cluster focus there in their design, et cetera. So I think there's an opportunity to give residents a lot for their lean fee in open space with focusing on creating those opportunities to promote the health and safety. So thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I have a quick question for everybody based on that is that I should have thought of this sooner, it just popped into my head. I can talk to Judelle, she's kind of organizing the whole thing. If anybody would be interested in meeting with Judelle and Sean and talking about the strategic plan and bringing their ideas, I was with them for an hour, it was a very open-ended conversation. That if that's something people would be interested in, I could talk to Judelle and see if I could get our board members a meeting. If you guys would be interested in that.
Strategic plan. Let me ask you this, in your conversations with them, were you getting away, let me rephrase that, were you getting more well-defined goals and plans based on the 5-year strategic plan that the consultants had created? Because there are a lot of feedback that was kind of general,
maintenance
didn't
plan.
quite, yeah, that in your discussions with Sean and Judelle, was it beginning to focus on, okay, here's the 5-year strategic plan. What are achievable goals and plans that we can use to get to those goals that would put us in sync with the strategic plan? In other words, more nitty gritty, rubber meeting the road as opposed to kind of nebulous pie in the sky.
So we did not get into that kind of detail. We did
Okay.
not get into that kind of detail. It was more of what do you like and don't like about the existing strategic plan?
Okay,
And what do you like and don't like about the current plan? And you guys know, I don't like the draft plan that the vendor produced, I think was not good. Right?
I agree.
And one of the things that really, for me, is that there was a lot of outreach in that strategic plan. And to what end? Why are we doing this? And so that was one of the things that I pointed out. And I think the discussion that I had, it was Sean was in the room, Judelle was there, and a couple other people from the senior leadership team. And I basically said that I wanted to know why we were doing certain things. What did we hope to get out of it? So for example, I beat the drum on this one is that only 25% of the residents in Columbia participate in programs and facilities. And we're doing all this outreach. And so, for example, I'll use the vendor that did this, that produced the draft. They did a survey and they didn't talk to everybody. Most of the people who responded to the survey looked just like me. They were in my age group and they looked like me. So many other people live in Columbia, like if you're going to do outreach, why don't you actually do a survey to find out if people even know that the Columbia Association exists and what it offers, and are you getting good value for that annual charge? I would, if you do, I want to find, the reason I would do that is to find out, do residents think about the Columbia Association at all and what it does? So, but yeah, I think it's a worthwhile conversation, and if you guys are interested, just let me know.
yes, because my focus would be, if we're gonna get down to nitty gritty, if we're gonna go after the question, why only 25% participate?
Yep.
And what do residents get for their lean fee?
Yes.
And how can we enhance what they get for their lean fee? If it gets down to that nitty gritty, we're gonna go out and get something done, I'm all for it. If we're gonna stay nebulous and is this strategic plan good, how should we, but that's kind of like my personal opinion, it's a waste of time for me.
Okay.
Okay, I want to get stuff done, like the pilot project, we got a
Right.
process, et cetera, and we got it done in a year, it was 10-0 unanimously approved, and it's being implemented in King's Contrivance already, so that's just me, my focus, thank you.
No, you're welcome, Bill. Brigitte, did you have a question?
I did, I was bursting at the seams and I kind of chuckled because exactly what Bill was saying was exactly what I was thinking,
Okay.
is I participated in the group too, and I felt like, why am I doing this? But I do feel like as a resident, but also from what I feel like from residents, if they're filling something out, they want to see, okay, well, I'm filling this out, but what does it really mean?
Yeah.
And so I watched the board meetings, all of them. I watched your board meetings and I watched them move all of the goals around, but the whole time I was watching that, I was thinking, okay, that's great that they have these goals. And this is what my husband does for a living, so I sometimes listen to it ad nauseum, so I maybe know more than I ever wanted to know, and if here's this, you would not be happy with that statement. However, I feel like if we have these grand goals, I like the idea of measuring them
Yeah.
at certain increments, and also I like the idea of, okay, how are we gonna measure them that relates to the residents?
Yes,
Like the play area study, that's a perfect example. This is something directly will be utilized by the residents. Are they being utilized? And the other thing I was thinking of is in one of my first jobs, I worked for an osteoporosis center and I collected data. And I literally, in order to get, it was for a densitometer machine. And in order to get it even considered by the FDA, you have to have a certain number of samples. So we would go everywhere and we would do surveys of do people fit into a criteria, and we would go to all sorts of demographics because of course you have to, first you hit one demographic and then you hit another. And so I'm thinking that in these surveys, it might also be beneficial. Yeah, we send them out in an e-newsletter, but we're also missing a lot of people. If we are at places like the pools in the summer or the gyms, or if we were at events, or if even like with sometimes the apartment residents, they don't always get them. So if we maybe have somebody who's a direct contact, so really reaching the residents as opposed to just probably a lot of the same group that are giving feedback all the time. So that was something else I was thinking of in that meeting.
thank you, Regina. Warren, I think I saw your hand up. Did you have a question?
No, I didn't have my hand up.
I thought you did. Are there any other questions?
Just to comment based on following comments. Maybe, and I'm stepping out of my role here, but if Sean and Judell were willing to talk strategic plan and get into this and get into that and get into the details of making things happen at the resident level, goals, plans, in other words, what underlies the strategic plan, don't talk about their strategic plan, talk about this. I'd be all in for that kind of meeting personally.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep everybody informed as we move through the strategic plan and what I'm seeing, obviously, I mean, I think it's important. So, yeah, I'll make sure, and then when it seems appropriate to like pull you guys in, absolutely. Okay, I'm good, thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you. All right. Brigitte, operations update.
Okay, apparently I didn't pull up my village manager's report, but you all do have a copy of it. And so most of it is a lot of similar items or updates on things that have happened since the last meeting. We did have shredding and it was good. The truck did break down, which was gotta give some kudos to Amy, who tried to jump the truck with her own car, unbeknownst to her that it had two batteries. Yeah, so that didn't exactly work out, but it was really worth a good shot, yeah. And
We ended up getting another truck. So we ended up being able to finish, take care of the
Good.
residents.
yes. And a couple of things that I failed to put on this list was things that kind of, well, two things that just happened today, and so I always get Amy the report prior to that, but at the last village managers meeting, we met at Freetown Farm, which I don't know if any you guys have been there, but it is a fabulous place. And I knew that it existed, but I had never been there before, which is, I guess, Hickory Ridge partners with them, and it's located inside of Hickory Ridge. So Laura hosted the meeting, so she had us come out there, and we got a tour of the farm, and we met in this new engagement building that they have, that two, Vernon Gray and Sherman Howe, they basically kind of put money in, it's named after them, and it's a beautiful facility. So if you ever get an opportunity, to just go and check it out, you do have to make an appointment because they have a lot of activities that are going on there. It is a really wonderful, interesting, experience. I really had a great time. Today I went on the Realtors bus tour, which we do every year. And they were all very excited about the 7-Eleven. They were also excited about the hip hop chicken. And so I had a lot of questions about that, but I did give them updates, told them we had updated our guidelines, answered a lot of questions, and took a nice tour of all 3 neighborhoods of Oakland Mills. So, gave them all our business card and told them that, you know, I told them some of the very common questions we get, and I tried to dispel, like, this is where we stand, etc. Gave some information that the Covenant team wanted me to share to them. But overall, it was just a nice little tour. And the other thing I wanted to let you know, so we all, as I mentioned, everybody's asking about the 7-Eleven. But I had this fear, and it literally kept me up at night, that after all the hard work that this community has done to get 7-Eleven and work with them to get a developer there, etc., I wanted it, when there was a grand opening, I wanted people to know so they could attend and they could be a part. So I reached out to the gentleman who had come to our meeting to talk about, from Howard County, who had talked about the traffic, etc., to see if he could get me in touch with somebody, and he did. And so currently, the status is they are waiting on BG&E for gas and electricity. And they don't have a defined date as to when that will all take place, but he assured me that when they did and they had an idea of the grand opening, he would share it with me. And as soon as I hear that, I will also share it with you. So I just wanted to let you know that I had checked in as we were getting closer, and I'm sure you guys have also answered questions about the 7-Eleven. And hip hop is still in the process with the NRAC, so that is too moving along. So just to answer those very common questions. And I think that's all you should. Oh, I will tell you, we've received a few donation requests. I have spoken to some individuals who have indicated they will be turning in donation requests. The absolute deadline is October 15th. It went out in our newsletter and also as a separate email. So that is out there. So unless anybody has any questions.
No questions from me? Any questions? All right, thank you. Wow, we're already to committee reports. Andrew, I know you have at least one thing.
Yeah, one thing, so Karina has been monitoring, 9352 Indian Camp, and today, this afternoon, Amy had emailed everyone, potential two letters, one, well, there are photos in there of the property and also items of concern listed in the letter. And so I would like to make a motion to approve each of those letters. First, we'll do the 15 letter that would be sent to the property owner, giving him 15 days to make contact and attempt to begin correcting the issues. So I'd like to make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Wait,
You
who
beat
made the
me,
motion?
you beat me.
Andrew.
Yeah, Bill, I saw first. And so I'd like to take a vote on that. All in favor? 1, 2, 3. Warren and for
Warren and Paulette, are you guys there?
Yes,
okay. Paulette, are you?
Yes.
Okay, 500 for the 15-day letter, and then also I'd like to make a motion to approve the, if that is not, if we don't hear from them within 15 days, the other letter approved to send to Columbia Association. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jonathan, all in favor? 1, 2, 3. Or it's Warren, Paulette.
Five.
Oh, let's give it a thumbs up.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go, I see that, 500, to approve the Columbia Association letter.
Okay, Andrew.
Right, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else in architecture?
No.
All right, education I covered under, old business for this meeting. Public space, Bill?
Public spaces.
Warren.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Warren,
I'm open space.
you're open space, Warren, sorry,
Can you hear me?
yes.
All right, good. The only thing we talked about was of interest is they had the groundbreaking at Bland Air Park that one of our members or attended. So I think starting in October, they're going to do break ground for 2 basketball courts that are lit, 6 pickleball courts, which will also be lit, and a skate park in Bland Air Park. So they had a big ceremony, and Calvin Ball said some things, and Nick Mooneyhan also had some spoke at that as well.
Where are they gonna put those?
So you know where they used to, where they had the buses,
Yeah.
the
in
bus
that-
vaccination bus?
Yeah, that's where it's gonna go?
It's going to be in that parking lot. It's going to be there and throughout there.
So is it gonna affect the traffic going through there? Cause I do have to travel through there in the morning. You know?
I have no idea. That's a
Yeah.
good question. It might.
Warren, did you see the plans? Do you know, like, is it gonna decrease the amount of parking that's there now? Because they already have like an issue.
I just saw a picture. I actually couldn't attend the meeting, but so I don't know if they're going to add any more parking. I don't think they are.
Okay.
The other thing I noticed, this is just, and this might actually be, no, I think it is public space, but it might be open space. On SOHAP, I've been trying to get a curb cut that connects the pathway. So when you go from Bland Air Park towards Thunder Hill, there's a path there, and they had a hard curb there, and now they have a curb cut. I think the county put that in. So
Yep.
that's after about, I don't know, 3 years of C-click fixes. So that works. And they also are putting at least bicycle friendly curb cuts to connect to the pathway along Thunder Hill. On the south side of 175, where the pathway goes under Thunder Hill Road. There's 2 paths that can now hit Thunder Hill Road, and now they have curb cuts, or at least one does. And my wife told me that the other side, the west side, does as well. I haven't seen that one yet, but so when they redid the gutters on Thunder Hill Road there, they added those curb cuts so you can take a wheelchair or a stroller or a bicycle or a skateboard, and you can do that as well as, and it's connected by concrete, as opposed to on the west side of it was just grass, and you could see the CA trucks were putting ruts into the grass there. So it's a big improvement, and I'm excited that that happened.
So Warren, the reason they were doing that work is because of storm drains. I wondered if they were gonna repave also, but
I don't know about that.
okay, I was just curious.
It's just what I saw. I haven't really talked to anybody about it. That might be something Brigida might know. I don't know. Are they going to repave?
I haven't heard anything regarding that, but I can see. I can check.
I mean, all the work is on one side.
Yeah.
It's not like it's on both sides, so But the way they were doing it, I thought, oh, I wonder if they're getting ready to repave. Cause remember, they came into Thunder, when we got repaved, they came in and redid all of our curbs first because
Yeah.
they repaved. So that was.
Yeah, because I know they did a lot of work on Sohap, so and I don't know if they repaved there or not. I don't see
They
that
haven't.
enough.
I mean, based on what they've done in the past, usually they don't do a full repay. I mean, they, they'll patch and
Yeah.
repave what was done there, but they don't repave the whole road. It's actually, the Thunder Hill seemed to break precedent, because when they did like a lot of the repaving in Stevens Forest and Talbot Springs, and we're going on probably 15 or 16 years ago now, they didn't do the curbs, like
It was just the first time.
our
they did
island is
Thunder
like
Hill, yeah.
sinking into the ground still, and I thought, why didn't they fix that when they were, repaving our road? But everything before they did Thunder Hill and since that I've seen, they'll resurface like the portion of the road that gets
Right.
damaged by the work they're doing, but they don't redo the whole road.
Several residents spoke to me after Thunder Hill got repaved. They said, when are they gonna do that for us? We need our, I mean, actually, a resident in Thunder Hills, the end of her driveway, where the curb meets the road is a mess. She was wondering when she was gonna get that repaired. And I personally know that they go by worst case when they look at the roads. Because the street that's just past, going towards the pool, the street that's just past the pool. Why can't I think of the name of that street?
Which
Log
one?
chain?
Stevens Forest Pool, just after Stevens Forest. Pool.
Oh, yeah, Encounter.
Encounter, thank you.
That's a
I was
mess.
thinking Inquiry, I'm like,
Yeah.
that street is in terrible shape.
And
And so were all the courts off of it.
when they repaved Stevens Forest Road and like, they did Camelback and all the, I couldn't believe they didn't
They
take
didn't
that
do
one
that
as well. Yeah,
It's just ridiculous. Is no one looking at that street?
yeah.
I don't get it. Anyway,
They've had several water main
Yeah,
breaks there.
I mean,
but-
the one that made the road
Yes.
go all.
Yes.
And then it-
their
Yeah.
road is rubble at this point. You need a 4-wheel drive to live there.
Anyway, that's all I have.
I have a quick question, Warren, if the curb cuts you said that were done at Linder Hill?
Can you hear Vicky?
Oh,
Can
I
you hear
didn't
Vicky?
quite hear that.
Okay, yeah, so Vicky's asking about the curb cuts at Thunder Hill. You want to ask the rest of your
Were
question?
they done talk about curb cuts that were done? Curb cuts that were done around Thunder Hill, or was there another area?
They were done on Sohap Lane.
So.
Sohap, yeah.
Yeah, if you, yes.
It's off of Thunder Hill.
So it's off of Thunder Road,
The
exactly.
crossing is Thunder Hill, though.
A part of Thunder Hill was done, that's why I thought it was repaving, so yeah, it's Sohap Lane and then. As you make the right hand turn off of Sohap onto Thunder Hill.
But there were 2 curb cuts near the pathway
Yep,
that comes to, those were on Thunder Hill. So those are the ones I've noticed so far. So
you're talking about where there's a path that goes under Thunder Hill Road?
right, and those and you can
That's supposed to be-
before going underneath, you can veer towards Thunder Hill Road on either side.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just north
That's
of
near
Sohap.
Sohap also, yeah.
It's just north of Sohap. Yeah.
Right. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Warren.
Sure.
Paulette, anything from the tenant committee?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, well, Columbia Point tenants, they have been winning in court. They've been they've been going to court to get an escrow account. So they continue to be able to, get those escrow accounts. And last week, Columbia Point had a town meeting with the new management. The tenants still feel like they're not being taken seriously though by the new management. So I'm just waiting to see. They're supposed to have them every week. And I'm waiting to see what type of updates they have since they, met with management.
Good for them,
That's
Paul.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Paulette.
No problem. Thank you.
Sounds like we're ready for the bulletin board. Amy?
I don't think I have anything now.
No,
All right. just another one of those save the date reminders, because there's always a ton of stuff in the fall on November 2nd, Saturday, November 2nd. The annual craft fair at Oakland Mills High School is happening, and that is a huge event for the Oakland Mills High PTSA, and goes a long way, I believe, toward funding things like after prom activities. So
What time does it start?
I think it. Now you put me on the spot. I think it starts at 11. Yeah, they have a whole page dedicated
It's
to
11
it.
to 30.
I think
Is
that's
it gonna
right.
be in the school newsletter, the one that Brigitte
So
sent?
I haven't
Yeah.
seen, are they open for vendors? I guess
Actually,
they
it says
are.
10. They are open for vendors because I've gotten emails from them.
Okay.
Let me find an
Yeah, I
email
haven't
here.
had any
Why am
emails
I
from
using
them.
my phone when I've got a laptop in front of me with a big
Okay.
screen?
Good time.
Yes, they are calling for vendors. A 9 by 10 foot vendor space is $60. If you need electricity, it's an extra $5. You supply your own table and chairs.
And they have a
blah, blah,
lot
blah,
of
but-
vendors, so.
Yeah, I mean, they,
Also a good opportunity for craft vendors.
they normally at the very least fill the whole main gym. Very often they also have the auxiliary gym. But like I said, that's a big event for them, and actually that maybe it'll be a big day at the school, because there's I don't know what holiday it is the Friday before, but there's something on November
Halloween.
1st. Yes, yeah, Halloween,
Oh.
that's what it is.
That British one too, the guy. What's it called?
I don't know.
Trying to-
Well,
Guy Fawkes.
anyway.
Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, is that?
For-
yeah.
It's not that, well, for whatever reason, they're not having Friday night football. The football games have been moved to Saturday afternoon. So there'll be the craft fair and the football
It's the
game
day after.
going. It's because it's the day after Halloween, right?
It's like the
And
day
and
after
they'll
the
be
Super Bowl.
they'll be dressed in black and orange for Halloween, so it's all coming
There you go.
together. So yeah, so that's a really big event for the PTA, and they do if you know of anyone interested or you want more information, it's omhscraftfair@yahoo.com is the email address for the craft fair.
Take the pool survey, please take the pool survey, please share the pool survey with your friends. And if you have an email, everybody with their own email address can answer the pool survey. So if you have kids in the household, I mean, they can answer, I'm totally fine with them answering the pool survey. Obviously, they're probably not purchasing their own membership. Second thing is just a kind of point of just interest is Chris Toscana, whose house is across from Stevens Park
Yeah.
Elementary School, already has his Halloween decorations
Yes.
up. And this year he is partnering with St. Jude's to do some fundraising, and he told me he's got a QR code out there that you can scan, and I know there's a QR code scam going on, but I think his QR code is probably safe. But anyway, yeah, so if you want to go over there and then donate to St. Jude's, he's partnering with them. And I am gonna do something in a newsletter for him, probably go out in at the beginning of October to talk about that. And if anybody knows of somebody, what I'm gonna do is, I put Halloween decorations out in front of my house. And there's a home on Log Chain Road. I talked to them a couple weeks ago. They put out amazing decorations of Halloween and Christmas. And so I'm thinking, like, if you know people who do, who do like a grand, like kind of like Chris, kind of like the house on Log Chain. If you know about them, just let me know and I'll try to go and get pictures and talk to them and put them in my newsletter so people know, like, who's got some great Halloween.
County's gonna have to start doing a Halloween thing like they do. the
Mhm.
Christmas
Yeah,
light
yeah.
thing.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Well, Chris does amazing stuff and the house on Log Chain is pretty cool also.
So my next door neighbor always does a nice like graveyard display in their
Mhm.
front yard. And then at my house, we just throw everything we have all over the place. If you want to use those too.
Yes, I'll come by, Jonathan. Text me your
I mean,
address.
literally, like, there's a giant cat holding a pumpkin with a smiling face next to some horrifying ghost. We just throw everything out there.
Are you gonna put your decorations up at the end of the month? Cause like next weekend, I'm gonna put my stuff up.
Probably,
next
yeah.
Sunday. Yeah, okay, then I'll take pictures and yeah.
Yeah, a
absolutely.
few of them have snuck out already. If you go by my house now, witches' feet are sticking out of one of our upstairs windows.
Oh, that's fun.
Sure that
That's the
anybody
easy one, I
orders.
guess.
I'm not gonna put anybody's house number in. I'll just,
Mhm.
obviously, I'm gonna say they live here, they live on this street, driving across from this school, but. So they will know, excuse me, location information, but not necessarily house numbers. But excuse me. Anyway, that's it for me.
Nothing for me.
All right, Warren, anything?
Yeah, I attended the Gateway Master Plan presentation last week. And it's online, and I encourage you all to check it out. They're trying to transfer Gateway into an innovation district. And that's so it'll have, like, they call it dynamic, mixed use, connected, and creative community. So I think it's going to be a long-term plan, but they're hoping to bring residents to Gateway and encourage, because it's been on a decline. I know that, like, I go to Home Depot. I have a doctor at Ascension, and I get my haircut there, but I see a lot of businesses struggling there. And so the county's hired a consultant, and they're trying to get things moving. It's like a long-term plan, like a 20-year plan, but I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was interesting the way they're trying to open up some more connections to Gateway, because right now you only have the 175 connection and Long Gate connection. So there's no other way to really get into, well, there is a back way in one other place, but it's really just two main connections to Gateway, and they're trying to spruce it up and try to get it moving in the right direction. It's worth a look, and they have it on online, a video of it.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
And Paulette?
Nothing.
Okay, well, in that case, I do believe we are done. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Well done,
Good night,
everybody.
Warren. Good night,
Thank
Paulette.
you. Good night.
Did you guys also see the plans for the Long Beach Village Center that they put in?